chosen one. Stop. Do not move a muscle, but shift your attention inward for 1 second. Do you feel that heavy pressure sitting on your spirit right now? Like a vibration of anxiety that medicine cannot explain and sleep cannot fix. Listen to me closely. That is not depression. That is capacity tension. God intercepted your timeline today to tell you that your reality is trying to stretch. You are currently feeling the growing pains of a blessing so massive, so illogical, and so terrified of being wasted that it is shaking your foundations before it even arrives. You think you are breaking down, but God says you are breaking open. This is bigger than you think, and if you do not understand the spiritual logistics of what is about to hit your life, you might mistake your coronation for a crisis. Stay with me. We are about to unlock the expansion. Before we go any further, I need you to make a digital agreement with this shift. If you are ready to expand, subscribe now to lock in this frequency. Like this video to signal to the spiritual realm that you are listening. And comment, "I am expanding to open the gates." Do it now. Now I need you to be honest with yourself about where you are right this second. You might be sitting in your car in the parking lot of your job, or maybe outside your own house with the engine turned off. You are gripping the steering wheel, and for some reason you do not want to go inside. You are staring through the windshield, but you are not seeing the street. You are seeing the suffocating smallness of your life. There is a tightness in your jaw that you did not even realize was there until I just mentioned it. You are clenching your teeth because you are trying to hold it all together. The petty arguments with your spouse, the bills that keep piling up like dead leaves, the co-workers who drain your energy with their low-frequency drama. It feels like you are a whale trying to swim in a bathtub. You feel clumsy. You feel oversized. You feel like you are bumping into walls everywhere you turn. And the enemy has been whispering to you that this discomfort is proof of your failure. He tells you that if you were truly favored, things would be smooth. But that is the lie we are destroying today. I want you to stay with me until the very last second of this message, because I am going to give you the complete manual for this shift. By the end of this video, you will have the stewardship protocol to handle the overflow that is coming so you do not lose it as fast as you get it. You will have the map of the 7 interceptions, the specific decoys the enemy will use to stop you in the next 40 days. And we will seal it all with an activation ceremony that will permanently upgrade your spiritual capacity. Do not skip a second. This is your survival briefing for the next dimension. Let us look at what is really happening in your spirit. You feel this pressure because of a principle found in Isaiah 54 verse 2. You have heard this verse before, but you have never heard it unpacked like this. It says, "Enlarge the place of your tent, stretch your tent, curtains wide. Do not hold back, lengthen your cords, strengthen your stakes." Most people read this and think it sounds like a nice home renovation project. They think it means comfort. But look at the Hebrew word for enlarge. It is rachab. And in this context, it does not just mean to make bigger. It implies a violent opening. To enlarge a tent in the ancient world meant you had to pull up the stakes that gave you security. You had to rip the fabric to sew in new pieces. You had to pound the new stakes into harder, deeper ground to hold the weight of the heavier canvas. So when you feel that tearing sensation in your chest, when you feel like your life is being pulled apart in opposite directions, that is not the enemy destroying you. That is the process of Rachab. That is God answering your prayer for more. You asked for a bigger territory. You asked for the kingdom impact. Did you think that would come without the stretching of the canvas? The tension you feel in your finances right now, where it seems like every dollar is being stretched until it snaps, that is the lengthening of the cords. God is testing the tensile strength of your faith. He is seeing how much weight you can hold before he drops the glory. If the tent is small, the stakes can be shallow. But you asked for something massive. You asked for a legacy that changes your bloodline. That requires deep, painful pounding into the bedrock. But here is where it gets dangerous. Because you do not recognize this stretching as preparation, you have labeled it as warfare. I know exactly how you feel right now. You wake up at 3 in the morning with your heart racing, and your mind instantly goes to defense mode. You start rebuking. You start binding. You start fighting the atmosphere in your room, thinking that demons are surrounding you. You feel like you are under a coordinated attack. It feels like every area of your life is under siege simultaneously. Your health is acting up with strange aches. Your relationships are fracturing over misunderstood words. Your technology is breaking down. It feels personal. It feels like someone has put a target on your back, and your natural reaction is to fight back, to swing your sword wildly, to scream at the heavens asking God why he removed his hand of protection. You are exhausted because you have been fighting the construction crew. Imagine a homeowner who hired a team to build a mansion extension, but when the workers arrived with sledgehammers to break down the old walls, the homeowner started shooting at them, thinking they were burglars. That is you right now, chosen one. You are rebuking the very angels God sent to expand your capacity. You are calling the answer to your prayer an attack from hell. And this confusion is causing you to delay your own breakthrough. You are patching up the walls that God is trying to tear down. You are trying to find comfort in the very confinement God is trying to liberate you from. You think this is the enemy trying to kill you. You think this pressure is designed to crush you into dust. But no, I am about to show you that if you keep fighting this like an attack, you will destroy your blessing. If you keep trying to save the old structure, you will never have space for the new glory. What you are facing is not a demolition of your life. It is an excavation for your destiny. And the reason it hurts so much is not because you are weak. It is because what is coming is heavier than anything you have ever carried before. And because it is heavier, it requires a foundation that goes down to the bedrock. You have been praying for a harvest, but God is giving you a jackhammer. This is the shift you need to make right now. Stop looking at the mess in your life as evidence of God leaving you. Look at it as evidence of God arriving. When a general contractor takes over a site to build a skyscraper, the first thing they do does not look like construction. It looks like destruction. They bring in the heavy machinery. They tear up the nice green grass you liked. They dig a massive, ugly hole in the ground. There is mud everywhere. There is noise. There is disruption. To the untrained eye, it looks like a disaster zone. But to the architect, it looks like progress. You are standing in the middle of that mud right now, chosen one. The relationship you thought was your future just ended abruptly. The job you relied on for stability just became toxic or disappeared. The peace you used to have in your routine is gone, and you are standing there holding the debris, crying out to God, asking why He allowed this earthquake. But God is saying, I did not allow an earthquake, I ordered an excavation. You cannot put a 50-story blessing on a 1-story foundation. If I gave you what you asked for, without digging this hole first, the weight of the blessing would collapse your life and crush you. The depth of your digging determines the height of your destiny. So if the hole is deep and the mud is thick and the tearing is painful, it is because the tower is going to be massive. You need to understand the spiritual law of construction found in Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 10. God says, "See, I have this day set you over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out and to pull down, to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant." Listen to the ratio in that verse. God gives 4 verbs for destruction: root out, pull down, destroy, throw down. And only 2 verbs for construction: build and plant. That is a 2-to-1 ratio. Why? Because the human heart loves to hoard old things. We love to build new structures on top of old rotten wood. We want the building and the planting without the rooting out and the pulling down. But God is a master builder. He knows that if He builds His kingdom on your trauma or your insecurity or your old way of thinking, the whole structure is compromised. So He sent the wrecking ball. And that wrecking ball hit your comfort zone. It hit your codependency. It hit your financial safety net. This is not the enemy robbing you. This is the excavation principle. And right now, I am going to teach you how to work with this principle instead of fighting against it, so you can stop delaying your own promotion. The first thing you must do is stop chasing what is leaving. When the dump truck comes to take the dirt away from the construction site, the builder does not run after the truck screaming to bring the dirt back. The dirt has to go to make room for the concrete. There are people who have walked out of your life in this season. There are opportunities that have dried up, and you have been exhausting yourself trying to text them back, trying to fix the unfixable, trying to resurrect what God has marked for removal. Stop. In your spirit right now, I want you to visualize those things. See that person who left. See that job that rejected you. See that old version of yourself that felt safe but small. Now imagine them being loaded onto a truck. Do not run after them. Stand your ground in the center of your sight. Watch them drive away. And as they fade into the distance, I want you to say one word in your mind. Room. That is what they left behind. They did not leave you empty. They left you with room. They left you with capacity. The excavation principle states that the void created by loss is actually the womb of the new creation. You have been cursing the void. You have been terrified of the empty space in your bed or the empty space in your bank account. But God needs that vacuum. He cannot pour the new wine until the old wineskin is completely discarded. You have to shift your perspective on the debris. The dust kicking up in your face is not blindness, it is the sign of renovation. The noise that is keeping you awake is not chaos, it is the sound of your capacity expanding. You are moving from a tent mentality to a temple mentality. A tent sits on the surface. It is easy to set up and easy to blow over. You have lived in a tent long enough. You have lived in a survival mode where you can pack up and run whenever things get hard. But God is pouring a foundation for a temple. A temple does not move. A temple has weight. A temple has influence. And a temple requires a hole so deep that it feels like you are being buried. You felt buried this week, didn't you? You felt like the dirt was being shoveled over your head. But there is a difference between being buried and being planted. A seed looks like it is being buried. It is dark. It is heavy. It is crushed by the soil. But the seed knows something the dirt does not. The seed knows that the pressure is necessary to crack the shell so the life can come out. You are not in a grave, chosen one. You are in a garden. The pressure you feel is the soil of God's grace pressing against you to crack open your potential. So here is your instruction for this phase. When you feel the pain of separation or the anxiety of the unknown, do not pray for it to stop. Pray for the discernment to know what to let go of. Ask God, what are you digging out of me today? Is it my pride? Is it my need for approval? Is it my reliance on money instead of you? And when He shows you, let it go. If you fight the process, you just stay in the hole longer. Surrender to the digging. Let Him hollow you out. Because the more He hollows you out, the more of His power He can pour in. But I have to warn you, Excavation is only the beginning. Clearing the land is the messy part, but it is not the dangerous part. The debris is external. You can see it. You can haul it away. But there is something else lurking on this construction site. Something invisible. Something that does not come from the outside, but lives deep within the blueprints of your own mind. You can have the land cleared. You can have the materials ready. You can have the funding secured. But if the architect is afraid of heights, the building will never go up. There is a silent saboteur hiding in your shadow right now. A voice that whispers to you not when you are failing, but when you are succeeding. It is the voice that says, "Who do you think you are to build this high?" And if we do not silence that voice right now, it will plant a bomb in the basement of your new life before the first brick is even laid. Let me tell you about Sarah to show you exactly how this silent saboteur operates. I am changing her name, but her story is likely happening in your spirit right now. Sarah was a chosen one who prayed for years to be a leader in her industry. She was stuck in a cubicle doing data entry while watching people with half her talent get promoted. She felt the injustice. She felt the waste of her potential. She cried out to God every night asking for the bigger platform. Then the shift happened. The excavation principle kicked in. She got fired. It was brutal. She felt abandoned. But in that void, she started a consulting business from her kitchen table. For 6 months, it was hard. She was digging the mud. But then the breakthrough hit. A major corporation offered her a contract that was 10 times her previous salary. It was everything she had prayed for: the platform, the influence, the money. But the moment she signed that contract, she did not feel joy. She felt terror, not nervousness. Terror. She found herself waking up at 4 in the morning, paralyzed. She started self-sabotaging. She delayed sending emails. She overthought every decision. She almost backed out of the deal 3 times. Why? Because she had encountered the monster. Sarah had spent so years identifying as the underdog that she did not know how to identify as the leader. She was addicted to the struggle. The struggle was safe. The struggle had no expectations. But the victory demanded responsibility. She realized deep down that if she failed in her cubicle, nobody watched. But if she failed on this new platform, everyone would see. And that fear almost made her hand the blessing back to the enemy. This is the shadow work we need to do right now, chosen one. I need you to be brutally honest with yourself. There is a part of you that wants to turn this video off. There is a part of you that is actually relieved when things do not work out, because it means you do not have to step up. You are praying for millions, but your subconscious is terrified of the taxes, the management, the decisions, and the judgments that come with it. You are praying for a spouse, but deep down you are terrified of the vulnerability and the daily dying to self that marriage requires. You have the grasshopper complex. In Numbers chapter 13, the spies went into the promised land. They saw the grapes. They saw the abundance. It was exactly what God promised. But they also saw the giants. And they came back and said, "We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them." Notice the order. They felt small in their own eyes first. The giants did not make them feel small. Their own self-perception did. You are standing at the border of your expansion right now. You see the giants of responsibility. You see the giants of visibility. And a voice inside you is screaming, "I am just a grasshopper. I am just a broken person from a broken family. I am not ready for this. Who am I to carry this weight?" That voice is not humility. That voice is fear dressed up as modesty. It is a lie from the pit of hell designed to keep you in the wilderness when the land is already yours. Why are we so afraid of the blessing we prayed for? It is because we misunderstand the purpose of the blessing. You are afraid because you think the blessing is for you. You think the money is for your comfort. You think the platform is for your fame. And because you think it is about you, you feel the pressure to perform. You think you have to sustain it. You think you have to be smart enough, strong enough, and perfect enough to keep it going. And you know you are not perfect, so you panic. You look at the size of the assignment God is handing you, and you look at the size of your own strength, and the math does not add up. You are right. It does not add up. If you try to carry this expansion with your current strength, you will be crushed. But here is the secret that Sarah discovered, the secret that saved her contract and her sanity. The blessing is not for you. And because it is not for you, it is not sustained by you. You are terrified because you think you have to be the source. But you are not the source. You are not even the container. You have been operating under a false identity this entire time. You think you are a bucket that God is trying to fill up, and you are worried that your bucket has holes. You are worried that you are too small to hold the ocean He is pouring out. But God is not trying to turn you into a bigger bucket. That is small thinking. That is consumer thinking. I am about to reveal a secret that will change how you look at your bank account and your calling forever. This is the biggest twist in your journey. You have been stressed out trying to become a reservoir that holds water. But God never designed you to be a reservoir. He designed you to be something else entirely. Something that does not hold on to anything, but processes everything. And once you understand this shift, the fear of not being enough vanishes instantly. Because the pressure is not on the pipe to create the water. The pressure is only on the pipe to stay open. Here is the revelation that will break the poverty mindset off your life instantly. You are not a bucket. You have been praying like a bucket, asking God to fill you up so you can feel safe. But God does not fund buckets, because buckets are stagnant. Water that sits in a bucket eventually becomes toxic. It breeds mosquitoes. It grows algae. It smells. God is not interested in creating stagnant pools of wealth that serve only one person. You are a distribution center. You are a pipe. You are a conduit. And this shift in identity changes everything about how heaven resources you. A pipe does not worry about running dry because a pipe does not own the water. A pipe only worries about staying connected to the source. The moment you stop trying to own the blessing and start agreeing to transport the blessing, the pressure to perform disappears. God spoke to me clearly about you. He said, "Tell them, I am not trying to make them rich. I am trying to make them useful. I am looking for a logistics manager on earth who can handle the heavy traffic of my kingdom resources without skimming off the top or hoarding it out of fear." The reason you feel the expansion pain right now is because I am widening the diameter of your pipe. I am scrubbing out the rust of your scarcity mindset so that when I turn on the high-pressure valve, you do not burst. Look at Joseph in Genesis chapter 41. We love to talk about Joseph going from the pit to the palace. We love the rags to riches story. But we miss the mechanics of the miracle. Joseph was not promoted just to look good in a robe. He was promoted because a global famine was coming, and God needed a distribution center. God needed someone who had the capacity to store corn for 7 years and then the wisdom to distribute it to the entire known world when the crisis hit. Joseph was not hoarding grain for his own retirement. He was managing the lifeline of the nations. The Bible says that all countries came to Joseph to buy grain. Imagine the scale of that operation. Imagine the logistics. Imagine the pressure. If Joseph had a poverty mindset, he would have eaten the grain during the first year of famine, out of panic. If he had a victim mindset, he would have refused to feed the brothers who betrayed him. But Joseph understood his assignment. He was a vessel. He was a steward. And because he was faithful to distribute, God kept supplying. This is the secret of kingdom financing that the church rarely teaches. It is the flow through principle. God sends resources to the places where they move the fastest. If you are a cul-de-sac where blessings go to die, God will stop the flow. But if you are a highway where blessings travel to others, God will increase the traffic. And this brings us to the question that is screaming in your mind right now. You are asking God, if I am a pipe and not a bucket, why is my pipe so dry? If I am a distribution center, why are the shelves empty? I have a heart to give, but I have nothing in my hands. I want to help people, but I can barely pay my own rent. Why is the water not flowing? This is the direct word from the Lord to you. The water is not flowing because the valve is shut. And the valve is shut not because the reservoir is empty, but because the pipe is clogged. You are blocked. You are blocked by a substance called fear of lack. You are blocked by the trauma of your past poverty. You are blocked by the belief that if you give it away, it will not come back. I want you to close your eyes for a second and visualize a rusty pipe. The water pressure behind the valve is massive. It is millions of gallons waiting to rush through. But inside the pipe, there is debris. There are stones of unforgiveness. There is the sludge of greed. There is the rust of doubt. If God opened the main valve right now with full pressure, that debris would become a projectile and destroy the system. It would blow the pipe apart. God is saying to you, I love you too much to destroy you with abundance. I am waiting for you to clear the line. I am waiting for you to prove that you can move the $100 I gave you last week before I send the $1 million I have prepared for next year. You are asking for the ocean, but you have not been faithful with the cup. You think the test is about getting more, but the test is about moving what you have. This is the capacity check. God is inspecting your flow rate. He is watching what happens when you get an unexpected bit of money. Do you immediately hoard it because you are afraid of tomorrow, or do you ask God where He wants it sent? He is watching what happens when you get a flash of influence. Do you use it to build your ego, or do you use it to highlight someone else? The blockages in your spirit are keeping you poor. You are praying for rain, but your spiritual drains are clogged. And until we perform the maintenance to clear those lines, the heavens will stay brass. You can fast for 40 days. You can quote every scripture on prosperity. But God will not bypass the laws of physics in the spirit. He cannot flow through a blocked vessel. So how do we clear the blockage? How do we scrub the rust of poverty out of your soul so the valve can be opened? There is a specific stewardship protocol that acts as a spiritual solvent. It dissolves the fear. It removes the debris. And it signals to heaven that the line is clear for heavy transmission. I am not talking about a donation. I am talking about a lifestyle shift that you must activate within the next 72 days. If you do not initiate this protocol, the calcification in your spirit will harden and you will stay in this dry season for another cycle. But if you do it, if you dare to apply this solvent to your life, you will see the trickle turn into a river. Let me give you concrete proof that this works. I want to tell you about a chosen one named David. 2 years ago, David was sitting at his kitchen table staring at a foreclosure notice. He was $50,000 in debt. He was a believer. He prayed in tongues. He tithed when he could, but he was drowning. He felt like God had abandoned him. He was waiting for a miracle check in the mail that never came. But then he stopped waiting for magic and started applying the stewardship protocol. David stopped treating his poverty like a virtue and started treating his finances like a failing business that needed a turnaround CEO. He stopped avoiding his bank account. He opened the app. He looked at the red numbers until his hands stopped shaking. He tracked every single cent. He told God, "I will manage this negative 50,000 with the same precision as if it were 50 million positive." Fast forward to today. David did not just pay off the debt. Last month I watched him sign a check to fund a new wing for an orphanage. He did not win the lottery. He did not get a lucky break. He simply unclogged the pipe. He proved to heaven that he could move resources without keeping them stuck in fear. And because he became a reliable highway for resources, God started driving heavy trucks of provision across his life. So, when I say bigger than you think, I need you to understand the scale we are talking about. Stop imagining a slightly better paycheck. Stop imagining being able to afford the extra guacamole. That is survival thinking. God is talking about kingdom infrastructure. We are talking about the kind of wealth that allows you to buy the building your church is currently renting, so the landlord can never kick you out. We are talking about the kind of resources where you can fund a mission trip for 10 people without checking your balance. We are talking about having enough margin to pay off your parents' mortgage so they can retire in dignity. That is the scale of the expansion. That is why the pressure is so high. You need to look at the parable of the talents in Matthew chapter 25 with fresh eyes. We often read this as a story about using your natural gifts, like singing or preaching. But in the original context, a talent or talenton in Greek was a unit of currency. It was money. It was a massive weight of silver. The master gave 5 talents to one, 2 to another, and 1 to the third. Now pay attention to the one who failed. The servant with 1 talent did not steal the money. He did not waste it on partying. He did not lose it gambling. He did exactly what most religious people do. He played it safe. He dug a hole and hid it. He preserved it. He acted out of fear of losing it. And when the master returned, he did not say, "Well done for being cautious." He called him a wicked and lazy servant. Why wicked? Because he blocked the flow. He treated the resource as a possession to be hoarded instead of a seed to be multiplied. He let fear dictate his financial strategy. And the result was that even the little he had was taken away and given to the one who had 10. This is the spiritual physics of wealth. To him who has the capacity to flow, more will be given. To him who hoards out of fear, even what he has will be taken. So here is the stewardship protocol you must activate in your spirit right now. You do not need to be at a desk to do this. You can do this in the sanctuary of your mind. We are going to perform a mental audit. Phase 1 is the forensic audit. I want you to visualize your current financial situation. Do not look away. Visualize your bank account. Visualize your debts. Most chosen ones live in a fog regarding their money because the reality hurts too much. But you cannot conquer what you will not confront. In your mind right now, I want you to say to God, "Lord, I open the books. I am no longer hiding the mess. I am inviting you into the deficit. Show me where the leaks are. Show me where I am spending money to medicate my pain instead of funding my purpose." Phase 2 is the automated flow. The reason you struggle to give is because you rely on your emotions, and your emotions will always vote for fear. You need to bypass your feelings. The protocol requires you to automate your generosity. It does not matter if it is $1 or 1,000. You must set up a system where a portion of what comes in immediately goes out to a kingdom cause. This breaks the spirit of mammon. It tells the money, "You are not my master, I send you where I want you to go." Phase 3 is kingdom capitalization. You must stop seeing money as something to consume and start seeing it as something to deploy. The servant with 5 talents went out and traded. He took action. He took a risk. You have been sitting on ideas because you are waiting for perfect conditions. But the protocol demands movement. You are moving from a consumer to an investor. A consumer asks, what can I buy with this? An investor asks, what can I build with this? And the moment you make that mental shift, the valve in the spirit begins to turn. You will feel a release in your chest. That tightness of poverty is breaking. You are stepping into the flow of the 5-talent servant. But listen to me carefully. Now that you have the map, now that you understand you are a distribution center and you have the protocol to clear the pipes, you are dangerous. You are no longer just a struggling saint, you are a potential financier of the kingdom. And the enemy knows this. He knows he cannot stop God from sending the provision. So he has shifted his strategy. He has dispatched 7 specific snipers to take you out before you reach the next level. They are waiting at the crossroads of your expansion. They are camouflaged. They do not look like demons. They look like people. They look like opportunities. They look like emotions. And if you do not recognize them, they will assassinate your assignment just as the check is clearing. Do you know who they are? Can you spot them before they pull the trigger? You need to understand that the enemy is not creative, but he is strategic. He knows that he cannot stop the blessing that God has already dispatched. The check is in the mail. The appointment is set. The healing is released. So since he cannot stop the sender, he tries to assassinate the receiver. He wants to take you out before the delivery arrives. And he does not do this with a frontal assault because he knows you would fight back. He does it with interception. I am handing you the classified intel on the 7 expansion interceptions right now. These are the 7 specific strategies hell uses to abort a chosen one's destiny right at the threshold of breakthrough. You need to put on the mindset of Nehemiah. In Nehemiah chapter 4, the Bible describes how the wall of Jerusalem was rebuilt. It says that the builders labored with one hand doing the work, and with the other hand they held a weapon. They did not put down the brick to pick up the sword. They did both simultaneously. This is why you are so tired. You are building a future and fighting a war at the same time. But you cannot put the sword down. If Nehemiah had focused only on building, the enemy would have killed him. If he had focused only on fighting, the wall would never have been built. You must learn to identify the threat while you continue the work. The first sniper on the ridge is the distraction. This is the most subtle of all attacks because it rarely looks like sin. It looks like responsibility. It looks like a good idea. The enemy knows that if he tempts you with something evil, you will say no. So he tempts you with something good that is not God. Listen to the whisper. You sit down to work on your God-given assignment. You are about to write that book or launch that business or pray that dangerous prayer. And suddenly, a thought drops into your mind. It sounds so logical. It says, you really should clean the garage first. You should organize your email inbox right now. You should help that distant cousin with their drama because you are a good Christian. It sounds like virtue, but it is a vampire. It is sucking the time and energy away from your primary assignment. In Nehemiah chapter 6, the enemies sent a message to Nehemiah saying, "Come down to the plain of Ono, let us meet together." It sounded like a peace treaty. It sounded like a diplomatic opportunity. But Nehemiah discerned the distraction. He sent a message back saying, "I am doing a great work so that I cannot come down." You need to learn that phrase. I cannot come down. When the phone rings with drama, I cannot come down. When a new opportunity pops up that does not align with your core mission, I cannot come down. The enemy wants you to trade your greatness for busyness. He wants you to die with a clean inbox and an empty soul. Recognize the distraction for what it is. It is not an opportunity, it is an interception. If you survive the distraction, the second sniper is waiting. This is the imposter. This attack launches the moment you get a win. You get the promotion. You get the client. You get the recognition. And instead of celebration, a cold wave of shame washes over you. The enemy whispers directly into your ear. He says, "They are going to find out. They are going to find out that you are not as smart as they think. They are going to see through you. You are a fraud. You tricked them. Who do you think you are to be in this room? Remember what you did 5 years ago. Remember where you came from. You do not belong here." This is the imposter interception. It attacks your identity. It tries to make you reject the blessing because you feel unworthy to hold it. It uses your past to blackmail your future. But you must realize that this voice is a liar. You are not in the room because you tricked anyone. You are in the room because God opened the door. Your qualification does not come from your resume. It comes from your anointing. When that voice speaks, you do not argue with your credentials. You argue with the blood. You tell that voice, "I am here because my Father owns the building." But there is a third sniper, and this one is deadly because it attacks your focus. It is the comparison. This interception usually happens through your phone. You are working hard. You are digging your foundation in the mud. You are being faithful in the dark. And then you open social media, and you see someone who started after you who seems less spiritual than you, and they are flying. They are getting the results you prayed for. They are living in the house you wanted. They are married to the person you dreamed of. And the enemy whispers, "Look at them. God must love them more. Look how easy it is for them. You are struggling and sweating and crying, and they are just gliding. Maybe you heard God wrong. Maybe you are not chosen. Maybe you are just forgotten." This is a strategic strike designed to produce bitterness, because the enemy knows that bitterness is a spiritual acid. If he can get you to drink it, it will dissolve your container. You cannot carry your blessing if your hands are busy throwing stones at someone else's blessing. Comparison kills contentment, and without contentment, you cannot steward increase. Nehemiah did not look at the other cities. He did not look at the other kings. He looked at his wall. He looked at his God. I need you to perform a mental scan right now. In the sanctuary of your mind, I want you to look at the last 7 days of your life. Can you see where the distraction pulled you away from your great work? Can you hear where the imposter told you to shrink back? Can you feel where the comparison made you resent your own journey? Identify them. Call them by name. Tell them, "I see you." But listen to me carefully, chosen one. These 3 attacks, distraction, imposter, and comparison, are just the opening volley. They are designed to attack your mind. They are designed to make you mentally tired so you drop your guard. They are just the pawns. The enemy is holding back his knights and his rooks for the next phase. These first 3 were just to slow you down. The next 4 are designed to take you out completely. The first 3 attacked your thoughts, but the next 4 are going to attack your heart and your relationships. And the 7th interception is the most dangerous of all because it looks exactly like a blessing until it bites you. You need to steel your spirit, because what comes next requires more than just focus. It requires spiritual armor. The 4th sniper is the resurrection of shame. This interception is timed perfectly to hit you when you are most vulnerable to praise. The moment you step into your new role, the enemy will pull a file from 10 years ago. He will remind you of the divorce. He will remind you of the bankruptcy. He will remind you of the addiction you overcame. And he will whisper, "How can you lead these people when you have that stain on your record?" This sniper tries to use your testimony as a weapon against you, but you must realize that your scar is not your shame, it is your credential. A scar means you survived. A scar means the wound is closed. When this sniper fires, you do not hide the scar, you point to it and say, "This is proof that God heals." If you survive the shame, the fifth interception is waiting. It is the false comfort. This is the temptation to settle for good enough. You have been climbing the mountain for so long, and you are tired. You reach a plateau that is better than where you started. You have a little bit of money. You have a little bit of peace. And the enemy says, "Stop here. This is safe. Why risk more? Why keep climbing?" This is the golden handcuffs. It is the spirit that makes you camp halfway to the summit. But you were not called to be comfortable. You were called to be conquered. Comfort is the enemy of destiny. If you stop now, you die in the wilderness with a full belly but an empty legacy. The sixth sniper is the isolation. This attack cuts your supply lines. As you expand, people will stop understanding you. Your old friends will not get your new language. Your family will think you are obsessed. You will look around and realize you are the only one seeing the vision. The loneliness will be crushing. And the enemy will use that silence to tell you that you are crazy. He wants you to go back to the crowd to feel safe. But eagles do not fly in flocks. They fly alone. The isolation is not a punishment. It is a quarantine to keep your vision pure. But the seventh sniper, this is the assassin. This is the sabotage. This is the most dangerous interception because it does not come from the outside. It comes from within. It is the self-destruct button wired into your trauma. Right before the breakthrough manifests, right before the contract is signed, right before the relationship is sealed, you will feel a sudden, irrational urge to destroy it. You will pick a fight for no reason. You will miss a deadline on purpose. You will push people away. This is your subconscious trying to protect you from the unknown. Your nervous system is so used to chaos that peace feels dangerous. So you try to create chaos to feel normal again. You must catch this hand before it pushes the button. You must scream at your spirit, "I will not destroy what God is building." Now listen to me. There is a lie you are telling yourself right now. You think that once you defeat these 7 snipers, the war is over. You think that once you get the money or the position or the restoration, you will finally be able to relax on a beach somewhere. This is the arrival fallacy, and it is a trap. You need to look at Joshua chapter 1 verse 9. God says, "Have I not commanded you, be strong and of good courage? Do not be afraid nor be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." Why did God have to command Joshua to be courageous? Because Joshua was entering the promised land. We think the promised land is a place of rest. But when Joshua crossed the Jordan River, he did not find a resort. He found giants. He found walled cities. He found iron chariots. The promised land was not a vacation, it was a battlefield. The only difference was that in the wilderness, he was fighting for survival, but in the promised land, he was fighting for territory. The level of the devil changed. New level, new devils. You are asking God to take away the fight, but God is trying to upgrade your weapons. If you think the expansion means the end of the war, you will be ambushed. The expansion means you are now worth attacking. You are now a high-value target. I want you to check your pulse right now. Do you feel that rhythm? That is not just blood pumping. That is the drumbeat of war. Your heart is racing because your spirit knows what time it is. The window of opportunity is closing. The portal that is open over your life right now does not stay open forever. There is a concept called Kairos time. It is a divine moment where heaven touches earth. and you are standing in it right now. But Kairos requires action. If you hesitate, the water stops moving. If you wait until you feel ready, you will miss the jump. You have the diagnosis. You have the paradigm shift. You have the stewardship protocol. You have the intel on the enemy. The training is over. The lecture is finished. We are moving from information to activation. Everything you have suffered up to this moment has been fueling you for this next 60 seconds. The talking is over. The gate is opening right in front of your face. Do you have the audacity to step through it and claim the territory that has your name on it? I need you to shift your posture. I need you to stand up on the inside. Straighten your spiritual spine. Wipe the sleep from your eyes. We are about to seal this forever. The time for theory is over. We are now entering the Holy of Holies. I need you to shift your posture right now. Whether you are driving, walking, or lying in the dark, I need you to stand up on the inside. Straighten your spiritual spine. Visualize yourself shaking off the dust of the wilderness. Wipe the sleep from your eyes. You are not just watching a video anymore, you are stepping onto the altar. We are going to seal this word before the enemy has a chance to steal it. Position your heart to receive. Father, in the mighty name of Yeshua, I bring this chosen one before the throne of grace right now. I thank you that this was not an accident. I thank you that you woke them up, you disrupted their schedule, and you arrested their attention because the time of their smallness has officially expired. Lord, they have been faithful in the mud. They have been faithful in the silence. They have stood in the excavation pit while the rain fell and the friends left and the money dried up. But today, you are turning the page. I acknowledge the tears they have cried in secret. I acknowledge the heaviness they have carried. But Lord, we now know that the heaviness was not death, it was the weight of glory. We thank you for the crushing because it produced the oil. We thank you for the digging because it created the capacity. And now, by the authority of the kingdom, I seal the revelation of the distribution center upon their spirit. I break the poverty mindset off their bloodline right now. I shatter the ceramic container mentality that says they are only meant to survive. I declare that they are a pipe. They are a conduit. They are a highway for kingdom resources. I command the spiritual valves in their life to open. Let the rust of fear be dissolved. Let the debris of past failure be flushed out. I bind the 7 snipers of the enemy that have been assigned to intercept their destiny. I bind the spirit of distraction. I bind the voice of the imposter. I bind the spirit of comparison. I bind the resurrection of shame. I bind false comfort. I bind isolation. And with the authority of heaven, I bind the spirit of self-sabotage. You will not destroy this blessing. You will not dismantle what God is building. I command peace to guard their nervous system. When the breakthrough comes, they will not panic. They will prosper. I seal the stewardship protocol into their daily habits. I declare that they will have the wisdom of Joseph to manage the surplus. I declare that they will have the courage of the servant with 5 talents to trade and multiply. I prophesy that in the next 7 days they will see a sign, a phone call, a refund, a connection, a shift in the atmosphere that confirms the valve has been turned. Father, enlarge the place of their tent, stretch their curtains wide. Do not hold back. I speak to the north, the south, the east, and the west, and I command resources to find this chosen one. Not for their vanity, but for your glory. Trust them with the heavy machinery of blessing. Trust them with the influence that shakes cities. Chosen one, I commission you. You are no longer a victim of warfare, you are a general of logistics. You are deputized to carry the supply. Do not apologize for the blessing. Do not shrink back when the spotlight hits you. Wear the mantle. Occupy the territory. I declare that the days of begging are over and the days of decreeing have begun. The construction is finished. The foundation is set. Now build the tower. It is done. It is sealed. It is yours. You are dismissed from the wilderness. Walk out.